So this one is a little bit special, literally. Today we're taking a look at the Seiko 5216-7080 Lord Matic Special. A watch that sits right in that sweet spot between everyday wear and quiet horological flex. It's understated, precise, and has just enough charm that every time I look down at it, I feel that Seiko is giving me a little nod of approval. Or at least reminding me that not every special label on a watch is just marketing. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a little bit of the background on this Seiko model, take a close look at its design, talk about the movement specs, how you can find it, how much you have to spend to get it, and where I think it fits within your collection. So the Seiko Lord Matic was Seiko's line from the 1960s into the 1970s that was a step above its usual casual everyday wear, but still a step below the big hitters like Grand Seiko and King Seiko. The special designation on this watch typically means higher refinement and closer attention to the details during watch manufacturing. And this is great in the series of watches already using the 52XX movements. This very specific reference comes from July of 1975, and its goal wasn't flash or high luxury use. It was an everyday hard hitter that fits the slightly formal but still casual role. This watch sits at just 35 millimeters in diameter without the crown, 41 millimeters lug to lug with an 18 millimeter lug width, and only 10 millimeters in thickness, a very modest size. You can see here in the close-up that this watch leans minimalistic but not boring whatsoever. The white sunburst style has a real fine texture, not loud but catches the light just enough to keep things interesting. The applied indices are slim and rectangular, pairing nicely with a thin batten hands. Everything here is very deliberate and balanced in my opinion. The day-date window at 3 gives it that practical, everyday usefulness, and I like that Seiko framed it in a subtle, polished chrome surround so it doesn't look just like a cutout in the dial that you typically see out of maybe Seiko 5s. The case itself has that slightly angular, very 1970s geometry, flat planes with crisp bevels along the edge. It gives the watch presence without making it bulky, something I quite like. As for the bracelet, this is the original folded link style with the small rectangular blocks that almost echo the geometry of the indices and of the angular edges on the watch itself. It's very period Seiko, quirky but in a good way. Adds a little bit of personality to what might otherwise just be a formal leaning design. The crystal is a flat mineral glass. Overall, my personal opinion, feels refined, restrained, and honest. Doesn't shout, just shows up polished. And of course, on time. Inside the watch is a Seiko 5216 movement, part of the higher grade 52 series. It's an automatic movement, has 23 jewels, hacking, hand winding, and it's known for being quite accurate when it's properly regulated. I bought this as is with an unknown service history, and it's sitting pretty solid, as you can see, at about 200 degrees amplitude and about 30 seconds gained a day. This is pretty on par for 1960s, 1970s Seikos. Really solid first time, honestly, but I'll probably give it a service soon. The quick set day date on these is mechanical rather than rocker style, which is, I think, something we can all appreciate, especially when you don't wear the watch every single day. Allows for quick set. In terms of reputation, the 5216 is generally considered robust, but a bit more sophisticated than the common Seiko calibers of the time. Again, not quite Grand Seiko or King Seiko level, but definitely leaning in that direction versus the other more robust series of Seiko movements. Service considerations, parts are available today, sometimes requires a little bit more money or a little bit time to find them. However, I don't think this is too bad if you're a hobbyist watchmaker, but watchmakers are your best friend and shouldn't cost too much. If you are serving yourself, I'm sure you'll know that having the Seiko DiaShock in these higher end movements is a large relief to see compared to the dreaded Diafix springs, which somehow I always tend to lose. On the wrist, it wears exactly how you expect from a vintage Seiko dress leaning watch to wear. Very light, extremely comfortable, low profile. The case hugs the wrist. The bracelet has that slightly jangly vintage charm, again with all of the individual angular pieces. The bracelet also includes the spring adjustment, a really nice feature. Always has a little bit of wiggle room, even if you put on the tightest setting, and always holds firm to the wrist. Honestly, amazing feature that you just don't see enough nowadays. Legibility of the time is great thanks to the contrast between the hands and that bright sunburst dial. The date is generally useful, especially when I forget what day it is by lunchtime. The crown is small, but still enough to wind and set. The watch is listed as water resistant, and as you probably saw, there was a gasket. However, this is vintage, so I'm not taking this anywhere near a swimming pool or shower. This is a watch for work, dinners, casual hangouts, and really anything that probably doesn't involve sweating or salt water. So where do I think this watch fits within my collection? Or where could it fit within yours? For me, it's one of those refined and humbled picks that I'm happy to wear every day at work. On a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best ever, I'll rate it conversationally. Versatility, solid 7. I can wear it casually, I can wear it as a dress watch. As far as comfort, a solid 9. Again, the stretch band that's kind of fit within the bracelet is fantastic. Always stays on the wrist, never slides off. Again, the movement, refined, easy to repair, easy to find replacements, and extremely serviceable. Probably an 8. And a joy factor when I see it on my wrist, a solid 7. Again, nothing flashy. It's not completely unique, but in a good way, if that makes sense. And I always enjoy wearing it, and I think this will be a long-term item in my collection. So where can you find a watch for this, and how much are you gonna have to shell out for it? Well, the typical price for these, probably around $100. I found this one specifically a couple months ago for just under $100, all in, including tariffs, as this was shipped from Japan. You can find this on eBay, Chrono24, the usual sites. Overall, my takeaway on the Seiko Lord Matic Special 52167080 is one of those quietly appreciated watches. It's refined, the movement's great, and really can fit in any type of style or wear that you want it to be. If you're looking for something bold, eye-catching, loud, this probably isn't the watch for you. But again, if you want something subtle, has great horological history, fits well within the line of higher end watches, I think this is the perfect everyday watch for you. And I think it really fits with the special designation Seiko gave it back in the 70s. Do you think watches like this still get the appreciation they deserve? Or do you think they get lost to time and often overlooked next to the more famous Seiko lines? Thanks for spending some time with me. Have a great holiday season, and I'll catch you next time where certainly it'll be different.